The year was 2087, and humanity had just begun to spread beyond Earth. Small colonies dotted the red surface of Mars, while brave workers mined asteroids for precious metals. Earth looked up at the stars with new confidence. Dr. Lisa Carpenter stared at her computer screen in the quiet hours of night. Everyone else had left North American Space Command hours ago, but she couldn't tear herself away from the strange readings. The energy signatures near Jupiter made no sense. They appeared and disappeared, defying all known laws of physics. She picked up her phone and called Commander John Hayes, her hand slightly shaking. "Hayes speaking," came the gruff voice. "John, it's Lisa. You need to see this data from Jupiter, right now." 12 hours later, Commander Hayes stood on the bridge of the U.S. Horizon, Earth's newest exploration vessel. His crew of 15 had been hastily assembled, the best pilots, engineers, and scientists available on short notice. "Approaching the coordinates, sir," reported Susan Miller, the ship's pilot. Her fingers moved quickly over the glowing control panel. "All stop." "Let's take a look," ordered Hayes, his eyes fixed on the main viewing screen. At first, they saw nothing but the vast emptiness of space with Jupiter looming in the background. Then something flickered, a distortion in the starfield. "Enhancement," Hayes commanded. The image sharpened, and gasps filled the bridge. A ship, clearly not of human design, drifted silently. Its hull was smooth like polished stone, with strange markings etched across its surface. Damage was visible on one side, with dark material floating away from the wounded vessel. "Life signs?" Hayes asked. Chief Medical Officer Paul Wilson checked his instruments. 1. Very faint. Not human. Hayes took a deep breath. "Prepare the boarding team." An hour later, Hayes led a team of 5 through the alien ship. The air was breathable, but had a strange, sweet smell. The corridors curved in unnatural angles, and the lighting pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. "This way," said Engineer Kate Brown, following readings on her device. "The life sign is just ahead." They entered what appeared to be the ship's control room. In the center, slumped in a chair-like structure, was a being unlike anything humans had ever officially encountered. It was roughly human-sized, but covered in scales that shifted from green to blue depending on the light. Its head was elongated with 4 eyes, 2 large ones in front, and 2 smaller ones on the sides. As the team approached, all 4 eyes opened. The alien struggled to its feet, standing with dignity despite obvious injury. It spoke, and to everyone's shock, their translation devices worked. "I am Ambassador Krall of the Galactic Hegemony," it said in a raspy voice. "I thank you for your assistance." Hayes stepped forward. "Commander John Hayes of Earth, we detected your ship's energy signature and came to investigate." Krall's head tilted. "Energy signature? Impossible. Our cloaking technology is beyond your detection capabilities." Lisa Carpenter moved closer. "We've developed a new form of faster-than-light communication that detected unusual patterns in subspace." The alien's 4 eyes widened. Its scaled skin shifted to a pale yellow. "Faster-than-light communication? That's impossible. Your species shouldn't have this technology for at least another 300 years. Hayes and Carpenter exchanged glances. "How do you know about our technological development timeline?" Hayes asked carefully. The alien seemed to realize its mistake. "The hegemony observes promising species. You've been watching us?" Carpenter asked. Krall straightened. "All developing worlds are monitored. It is for your own protection." As they helped the injured alien aboard the Horizon, Hayes noticed Krall examining their technology with growing concern. When the alien thought no one was looking, Hayes saw it activate a small device on its wrist. Later, as Earth celebrated first contact, Hayes took Lisa aside. "Did you see it sending a message?" he asked quietly. Lisa nodded. "Yes, and whatever it said, I don't think it was just calling for help." In the medical bay, Ambassador Krall looked out at Earth through a viewport, its scaled fingers tapping nervously on the bed. The humans should not have this technology yet. The hegemony needed to know immediately. These humans were not following the expected pattern, and that made them dangerous. Sam Mitchell wiped sweat from his forehead as he adjusted the final component in the test chamber. The Nevada desert heat somehow crept into the underground facility despite its advanced cooling systems. He stepped back to admire his work, a small device no bigger than a microwave that had taken 5 years to build. Running final checks, Sam said into his recorder. Test Series 47 of the Gravity Manipulation Array. A voice came over the intercom. Sam, Dr. Grant wants to see you in the main lab. Sam sighed. He had hoped to complete the test before any interruptions. He carefully locked down the equipment and headed through the maze of hallways that made up the secret government facility. Few people knew this place existed, hidden beneath an old military testing ground. The main lab was larger than a football field, filled with equipment that would make most scientists weep with envy. In the center sat the real prize, what remained of the crashed alien ship discovered in 2042. Even after 45 years, much of it remained a mystery. Dr. Olivia Grant stood by a holographic display, her gray hair pulled back in a tight bun. At 63, she had devoted half her life to Project Breakthrough. Sam, good timing, she said without looking up. We've made progress on the propulsion system. She waved her hand, and the hologram shifted to show complex equations and diagrams. Sam studied them carefully. You've solved the energy containment problem, he said, surprised. Dr. Grant smiled. Not me. The new AI analysis program found the pattern we missed. She lowered her voice. This isn't just advanced technology, Sam. It's beyond anything the greatest minds on Earth could have developed independently. Someone wanted us to find this. Sam ran his fingers through his short brown hair. You think the crash wasn't an accident? I think we were meant to reverse engineer it, she replied. And now we have. She pressed a button on her tablet, and a section of floor opened. A platform rose, carrying an object covered by a tarp. Dr. Grant pulled it away to reveal a sleek, metallic sphere about 3 feet across. Our first working prototype. It can generate a controlled gravitational field strong enough to lift this building. Sam's eyes widened. Does Defense Command know? Not yet. I wanted your final checks before the demonstration next week. Their conversation was interrupted by alarms blaring throughout the facility. Dr. Grant checked her tablet. Security breach? That's impossible. The main screen in the lab activated automatically. The stern face of Admiral Nancy Peters appeared. Project Breakthrough. This is an emergency broadcast. We have confirmed alien vessels in our solar system. 3 large ships have taken position near Jupiter's orbit. First contact protocols have been activated. Sam and Dr. Grant exchanged worried glances. There's more, Admiral Peters continued. The alien we rescued, Ambassador Krall, has admitted his people have been monitoring Earth for centuries. They call themselves the Galactic Hegemony, and they're concerned about our technological development rate. They know, Dr. Grant whispered. All advanced technology projects are now under maximum security protocols, Peters said. No tests, no demonstrations without direct authorization. We don't know their intentions yet. The screen shifted to show 3 massive ships. They were unlike Krall's smaller vessel. These were clearly warships with sharp angles and weapon ports visible along their hulls. After the briefing ended, Dr. Grant locked the lab doors. We need to accelerate our timeline, she said, if they're here about our technology. They might try to take it, Sam finished her thought. Or worse, prevent us from developing it further. She looked at the prototype gravity device. Hide this in the secure vault. Tell no one. As Sam carefully moved the device, his mind raced. The crashed ship, the sudden appearance of the hegemony, the technology that was too advanced for humans. It all connected somehow. Later that night, as he reviewed security footage of the original crash site from 2042, Sam noticed something odd. The ship hadn't shown signs of damage until the final moments before impact. It was almost as if it had been deliberately crashed. Someone had given humanity a technological gift, and now others had come to take it away. The three massive hegemony warships hung in space like dark mountains against the stars. Each was at least 2 miles long with strange glowing lines running along their hulls. Earth's largest military ships looked like toys beside them. In the Emergency Command Center beneath Washington, D.C., world leaders gathered around a large round table. Screens on the walls showed the alien ships from different angles. The room buzzed with nervous energy. Commander John Hayes stood at attention as President William Garcia entered. Everyone rose. "Be seated," President Garcia said. His face looked tired, with dark circles under his eyes. "I've just finished speaking with the United Nations Security Council. For the first time in history, all nations have agreed to a unified response. Commander Hayes will represent Earth in all communications with these visitors." Hayes nodded, feeling the weight of 7 billion lives on his shoulders. "What do they want?" asked the Chinese president. Admiral Nancy Peters stepped forward. "Based on communications with Ambassador Kroll, they're here to inspect our technology. They believe we've advanced too quickly." "Too quickly by whose standards?" the Russian leader demanded. Hayes cleared his throat. "The hegemony apparently categorizes species by development stages. According to Kroll, we've jumped ahead by several stages in the last few decades." Dr. Lisa Carpenter entered the room carrying a tablet. All eyes turned to her. "Dr. Carpenter has discovered something concerning," President Garcia said. "Doctor, please share your findings." Lisa connected her tablet to the main screen. Images appeared showing strange objects in Earth orbit from different time periods. "These are objects my team has identified from old satellite imagery and space telescope data," she explained. "They've been observing us for at least 70 years, possibly much longer. We never noticed because they used advanced cloaking technology." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "They've been watching us like animals in a zoo," Admiral Peters said finally. The main communication screen lit up. A reptilian face appeared. Not Kroll, but another of his species with darker scales and a red marking across its forehead. "I am High Commander Zex of the Galactic Hegemony," the alien announced. "I request the presence of Earth's leadership representatives aboard our command vessel for formal assessment." President Garcia looked at Hayes and nodded. "This is Commander John Hayes," Garcia said. "He speaks for Earth in this matter." Hayes stepped forward. "High Commander, we would be honored to meet. However, we request the meeting take place on neutral ground. Perhaps our Mars colony would be acceptable." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Very well. 3 Earth cycles from now. Bring your science and defense leaders." The screen went dark. After the leaders dispersed to prepare, Hayes found Lisa in the hallway. "They're scared of us," she said quietly. "What do you mean?" "These aliens control many star systems, yet they're concerned about one small planet. We must have something they fear." Hayes nodded slowly. "Get to Nevada. Check on Project Breakthrough. Whatever they found in that crashed ship might be our only advantage." Meanwhile, at the secret facility in Nevada, Sam and Dr. Grant worked frantically. They had connected their gravity device to the facility's power grid for a full-scale test. "Power at 30%, Sam called out. The device hummed to life. A small metal ball placed nearby began to rise, floating in midair. Then more objects started to float. Chairs, tools, even a desk. "It works," Dr. Grant exclaimed. Sam checked the readings. "Power draw is minimal. This technology is incredibly efficient." Dr. Grant smiled. "Now for the real test." She adjusted some settings on her control panel. Outside the facility, hidden cameras showed a 3-ton military truck. As they watched, the truck gently rose 6 feet off the ground, hovered for 10 seconds, then settled back down without a sound. "The hegemony is right to be worried," Dr. Grant said. "With this technology, we could build ships that would make theirs look primitive." Sam stared at the screens. That's exactly what they're afraid of. The Mars colony dome gleamed under the red planet's sun. Inside, humans rushed to prepare the main meeting hall. Plants from Earth lined the walkways, and large windows showed the rusty landscape outside. This colony, humanity's greatest achievement just 5 years ago, now served as the stage for the most important meeting in human history. President Eric Collins arrived with his team on the last shuttle from Earth. His blue suit looked perfect despite the long journey. Commander Hayes met him at the airlock. "Are we ready?" the president asked. Hayes nodded. "The Hegemony shuttle is expected in 1 hour. Dr. Carpenter is here already, studying their ship's energy readings." They walked through the busy hallways to a private room where Lisa Carpenter worked at a computer terminal. "What have you found?" Hayes asked. Lisa looked up, her eyes tired from lack of sleep. "Their ships use energy in ways we barely understand. But there's something odd about their technology. It's all similar, almost like they stopped developing new ideas centuries ago." President Collins frowned. "Is that important?" "It might be," Lisa replied. "Innovation comes from necessity or curiosity. If they've stopped innovating," Hayes finished her thought, "then they might not be as advanced as they want us to believe." An alarm sounded. Through the windows, they watched a strange craft descend toward the landing pad. Unlike the sharp angles of the Hegemony warships, this shuttle had smooth curves and moved with unusual grace. "They're here," the president said. In the meeting hall, 2 groups faced each other across a large round table. President Collins sat with Hayes, Carpenter, and Admiral Peters. Ambassador Krall stood uncomfortably off to the side, caught between his people and the humans he had come to respect. High Commander Zex entered last. He stood a foot taller than Krall, with darker scales and an air of authority. 2 armed guards flanked him. "President Collins," Zex said, his translator making his voice sound metallic. "Your species has created an impressive outpost on this dead world." "Thank you," Collins replied calmly. "Mars is just the beginning of our expansion into space." Zex's eyes narrowed. "That is precisely what concerns the Hegemony. Your development is proceeding at an irregular pace." "Irregular by whose standards?" Hayes asked. "By the natural order," Zex replied. "The Hegemony has observed thousands of species. All follow predictable patterns of development. Except humans." Lisa Carpenter leaned forward. "And why is that a problem?" Zex's tail twitched slightly. "Species that develop too quickly often destroy themselves or others. The Hegemony exists to guide younger species, to protect them from themselves." "To control them, you mean?" Admiral Peters said. Zex ignored her comment. "We require access to all your advanced research facilities, particularly those studying faster-than-light communication and gravitational manipulation." The humans exchanged glances. "That would compromise our security," President Collins said carefully. "Refusal is not an option," Zex replied. "The Hegemony has maintained galactic peace for 10,000 years by preventing dangerous technologies from spreading. We will inspect your facilities, with or without permission." The threat hung in the air. Back on Earth, Sam Mitchell worked alone in the Project Breakthrough facility. Everyone else had evacuated after reports that the diplomatic meeting was going poorly. Sam studied the original data from the alien crash in 2042. Something caught his eye in the old video footage. Frame by frame, he watched the ship descend. Just before impact, a small object ejected from the craft. Nobody had noticed it before. Sam's heart raced as he cross-referenced the ejection trajectory with geological survey maps. The object would have landed 50 miles from the crash site. He grabbed his equipment and headed for the garage. If he was right, the real gift from space wasn't the crashed ship that everyone had been studying for decades. It was something else entirely, something deliberately hidden nearby. As he drove into the desert, Sam wondered if they were part of some larger game, pieces being moved on a board they couldn't even see. And time was running out. The sky above Earth filled with military ships. Every nation had sent their best vessels to form a united defense line. They looked impressive altogether, but everyone knew they would be no match for the hegemony warships if fighting began. Admiral Nancy Peters stood on the bridge of the flagship Freedom, watching the radar screens. The hegemony vessels had moved closer to Earth after the failed talks on Mars. "Status report," she ordered. "All ships in position," Admiral, replied her second-in-command. "Chinese and Russian fleets are holding the southern approach. European Union has the north." Peters nodded, but worry lines creased her forehead. Even with every weapon on Earth pointed at the sky, they had no real defense against the advanced aliens. Her communication officer turned suddenly. "Admiral, incoming message from the hegemony." The main screen lit up showing High Commander Zex. His scaled face showed no emotion. "People of Earth," he began, "the hegemony has reached its decision. Your species has developed technologies beyond your maturity level. This presents an unacceptable risk to galactic stability." Admiral Peters gripped the edge of her chair. "You have 2 Earth days to surrender all research and technology related to faster-than-light communications, gravity manipulation, and any other advanced physics applications," Zex continued. "Failure to comply will result in protective containment of your planet." "What does protective containment mean?" Peters demanded. "A barrier will be placed around your solar system. No ships will enter or leave. Your development will be closely monitored until you reach appropriate maturity, perhaps in several hundred years." The screen went dark. Peters immediately called an emergency meeting with Earth's leadership. Meanwhile, in the Nevada desert, Sam Mitchell had been digging for hours. His equipment had led him to this exact spot, where something had landed 45 years ago. The sun beat down mercilessly as he wiped sweat from his eyes. His shovel hit something hard. Carefully, he brushed away sand to reveal a smooth black box about the size of a small suitcase. There were no visible openings or controls. It was completely sealed. Sam's phone rang. It was Dr. Grant. "Sam, where are you? The hegemony has given us an ultimatum. They're demanding all our advanced technology." "I found something," Sam replied, staring at the black box. "Something that was ejected from the ship before it crashed. I'm bringing it in." Back at the facility, Dr. Grant examined the mysterious box while Sam explained his discovery. "The timing of the crash was perfect," he said. "It happened right when we were first developing digital technology, but hadn't reached space yet, and it crashed in a remote area where only the government would find it." Dr. Grant ran her scanner over the box. "This material isn't in any of our databases. It's not even related to the crashed ship we've been studying." "What if the crashed ship was just a distraction?" Sam suggested. "What if this is the real gift?" As they spoke, the box suddenly hummed to life. Lines of light appeared on its surface, forming intricate patterns. Then, unexpectedly, it split open. Inside was a small crystal that glowed with shifting colors. Next to it was a simple data storage device, compatible with Earth's technology from 2042. "Someone wanted us to find this," Dr. Grant whispered. They connected the storage device to a secure computer. A message appeared on the screen in perfect English. "To the people of Earth, you have been selected. The hegemony has controlled the galaxy for too long, preventing species from reaching their full potential. We are the precursors, and we once ruled the stars before the hegemony rose to power. We have chosen your species to receive our knowledge. Use it wisely. You are not alone in resisting their control." Sam and Dr. Grant looked at each other in shock. "We need to contact the president," Dr. Grant said. "The crashed ship, the ultimatum, it's all part of something bigger." Sam nodded, looking at the glowing crystal. "And I think I know what this is for. It's meant to be installed in our gravity device." The world leaders gathered once more, this time in an underground bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains. Their faces showed the weight of the decision they faced. President Collins stood at the head of the table, looking at each person in turn. "The hegemony deadline is 20 hours from now," he said. "We must decide. Do we surrender our technology, or do we resist?" Admiral Peters spoke first. Our military cannot win against their ships, but surrender means giving up our future. Dr. Lisa Carpenter cleared her throat. I've been in contact with Dr. Grant from Project Breakthrough. They've made a discovery that changes everything. All eyes turned to the large screen as Dr. Grant and Sam Mitchell appeared. They explained their findings about the precursors and showed the crystal they had discovered. We believe this crystal is meant to enhance our gravity device, Dr. Grant explained. The precursors clearly wanted us to have this technology as a defense against the hegemony. Can you make it work in time? Commander Hayes asked. Sam nodded. We think so, but we need to test it. President Collins looked around the room. We seem to have only one option. We demonstrate our capabilities and hope it's enough to make the hegemony reconsider. The vote was unanimous. 12 hours later, Sam and Dr. Grant had integrated the crystal into their gravity device. The machine hummed with new energy, its core glowing with shifting colors. Power levels are stable, Sam reported. The crystal amplifies the effect by at least 100 times. Dr. Grant smiled. Let's see what it can do. They moved to a test chamber where a small model of a spaceship sat on a platform. Sam activated the device at its lowest setting. The model ship rose slowly into the air, but instead of just floating, it became surrounded by a visible distortion, like heat waves on a hot road. What's happening? Sam asked. Dr. Grant checked her instruments. It's creating a gravitational lens around the object. Light itself is being bent. Sam's eyes widened. Could this deflect energy weapons? In theory, yes, Dr. Grant replied, excitement in her voice. This isn't just propulsion technology, it's a defense system. They immediately called President Collins. Plans were quickly made to install the device on the U.S. Horizon, Earth's most advanced spaceship. It was humanity's best hope. Meanwhile, aboard the Hegemony command ship, Ambassador Krall approached High Commander Zex in private. Commander, I must speak with you about the humans, Krall said nervously. You have grown too fond of them, Zex replied coldly. They are dangerous primitives. With respect, Commander, I believe we are underestimating them. Their adaptability is remarkable. And there is something else. Krall hesitated. I believe someone has helped them. Zex's eyes narrowed. Explain. Their gravity technology. It resembles old records of precursor science. Zex hissed, a sound of anger and fear. Impossible. The precursors are gone. What if they're not? Krall asked. What if they've been waiting, looking for allies? Before Zex could respond, an alert sounded. A human ship was approaching. The U.S. Horizon. On the bridge of the Horizon, Commander Hayes sat in the captain's chair. Behind him, Sam and Dr. Grant monitored the newly installed gravity device. Open a channel to the Hegemony flagship, Hayes ordered. High Commander Zex appeared on screen. Have you come to surrender your technology? Hayes shook his head. We've come to demonstrate it. We respectfully decline your ultimatum. Earth will chart its own course. Then you leave us no choice, Zex replied. We will take your technology by force. A hegemony weapon powered up, its energy building to dangerous levels. Everyone on the horizon held their breath. Activate the gravity shield, Hayes commanded. Sam engaged the device. The crystal pulsed with brilliant light. Just as the hegemony weapon fired, a shimmering field surrounded the horizon. The energy blast struck the field and bent around the ship, harmlessly continuing into space. Zex's 4 eyes widened in shock. Impossible. Silence filled the bridge of the Hegemony flagship. High Commander Zex stared at the view screen, unable to believe what he had just witnessed. The human ship should have been destroyed. Instead, it remained perfectly intact, the energy blast from his most powerful weapon deflected as if it were nothing. Scan that vessel again, Zex ordered, his voice tight with anger. Find out how they did this. Ambassador Krall stepped forward cautiously. Commander, perhaps we should. Be silent, Zex snapped. This changes nothing. They are still primitives playing with forces they don't understand. On the U.S. horizon, shears erupted across the bridge. The gravity shield had worked perfectly. Commander Hayes allowed himself a brief smile before raising his hand for quiet. "Stay focused," he said. "This is just the beginning." Sam checked the readings from the gravity device. Shield holding steady. Power consumption is minimal. The crystal is incredibly efficient. Dr. Grant nodded. The precursors knew what they were doing when they designed this. Hayes opened the communication channel again. "Hi, Commander Zex, as you can see, we have defensive capabilities beyond what you expected. We wish for peace, but we will defend our right to develop our own technology." Zex's scaled face filled the screen, his eyes cold. "One shield does not win a war. Human, you have made your choice. Now you will see the full might of the hegemony." The screen went dark. "They're powering up multiple weapon systems," reported the sensor officer. Hayes turned to Sam and Dr. Grant. "Can the shield handle multiple attacks at once?" "In theory, yes," Dr. Grant replied. "But we haven't tested it under those conditions." Before Hayes could respond, Ambassador Krell's face appeared on a separate channel. "Commander Hayes," Krell said urgently, "I've managed to access a private channel. You must listen carefully. The hegemony has done this before, suppressed species showing signs of advancement. But never has any world possessed precursor technology." "You know about the precursors?" Sam asked. Krell nodded. "They were thought to be extinct. The hegemony rose to power after their disappearance 10,000 years ago. If they chose to help humanity." His voice trailed off. "What aren't you telling us, Ambassador?" Hayes pressed. "The hegemony fears the precursors' return above all else," Krell admitted. "That's why Zex is so determined to stop you now. There's more at stake than just Earth." Dr. Carpenter, who had been analyzing data from deep space, suddenly called for attention. "I'm detecting unusual signals," she said. "They're coming from beyond our solar system." She put the signals on the main speakers. A strange pattern of sounds filled the bridge, unlike anything they had heard before. "What is it?" Hayes asked. "I don't know," Lisa replied. "But it started right after we activated the gravity shield." Sam studied the crystal at the heart of their device. Its glow had intensified, pulsing in perfect rhythm with the mysterious signals. "It's responding," he whispered. "The crystal is communicating with someone." Ambassador Krell's eyes widened. "The precursors. They're still out there, watching, waiting." Suddenly, multiple alerts sounded on the bridge. "Sir, we have new contacts," the sensor officer reported. "Multiple ships entering the solar system." "Hegemony reinforcements?" Hayes asked. "No, sir. Different designs completely." And the officer hesitated. "They're hailing us directly, bypassing the hegemony ships." The view screen activated without command. A being appeared, humanoid but with silver skin and eyes that shimmered with inner light. "People of Earth," the being said in perfect English, "we have monitored your test of the device. You have proven yourselves worthy. We are the guardians, servants of those you call the precursors. We have watched many species struggle against hegemony control. You are the first to successfully use our gift." Ambassador Krell stepped back, his scales paling. The legends were true. The guardians are real. High Commander Zex's voice cut through on another channel, his tone no longer commanding but filled with fear. "What have you done, humans? What have you called to our galaxy?" The next 12 hours changed the course of human history forever. The Guardian ships, 7 of them, each glowing with the same shifting colors as the precursor crystal, took positions around Earth. Their presence alone seemed to keep the hegemony warships at bay. On the main view screen of the U.S. horizon, the silver-skinned Guardian continued to speak with Commander Hayes and the human leadership. "For 10,000 years, the hegemony has controlled the development of younger species," the Guardian explained. "They claim it is to prevent chaos, but in truth, it is to prevent competition. The precursors believed all species should develop freely." Why did the precursors choose us? President Collins asked. Your adaptability, your creativity, your willingness to work together despite differences. These are rare traits. The Guardian's shimmering eyes seemed to look at each human individually. The precursors did not disappear. They evolved beyond physical form. But before doing so, they created us, the Guardians, to find worthy allies. High Commander Zex demanded to join the conversation. His usual confidence had vanished, replaced by barely controlled fear. This is a violation of galactic law, Zex insisted. The humans are too unpredictable, too dangerous to possess advanced technology. The Guardian turned to face him. It is time for change, Commander. The hegemony's control must end. As they spoke, a message arrived from Admiral Peters. More ships were arriving. Not Guardians or hegemony, but vessels of many different designs and origins. We're being hailed by multiple frequencies, the communications officer reported. They identify themselves as the Ventari, the Lorians, the Keth Collective. 12 different species in all. Ambassador Krall recognized the names. These are all species under hegemony control. Younger races who were forced to halt their development. One by one, representatives of these species appeared on screen. Each expressed the same sentiment. They had been watching Earth stand against the hegemony with hope. For centuries, we obeyed the hegemony's restrictions, said the Ventari ambassador, a blue-skinned being with 4 arms. We abandoned our most promising research, but humans have shown another path is possible. Commander Hayes looked at Sam and Dr. Grant. Your discovery didn't just save Earth, it might free the galaxy. Sam shook his head in wonder. All from a small box in the desert. President Collins rose to address the gathered representatives. Human, hegemony, Guardian, and the newly arrived species. Today marks a new beginning, he said. Earth offers friendship to all peaceful species. We will share what we have learned, and together build a galaxy based on cooperation, not control. High Commander Zex, seeing his authority crumbling, made one final desperate move. He ordered his flagship to power up its main weapon and target Earth directly. If I cannot control this technology, no one will have it, he hissed. Before anyone could react, Ambassador Krall stepped forward on the hegemony bridge. No, he said firmly, standing between Zex and the control panel. Enough. Other hegemony officers joined him, blocking Zex from the weapons controls. The old ways are over, Commander, Krall said. Even our own people see it now. 2 days later, representatives from all species gathered on the Mars colony to sign the first Galactic Alliance Treaty. The hegemony, its power broken, but still a significant force, reluctantly agreed to join as equals, not rulers. As Sam watched the historic signing, Dr. Grant joined him by the window overlooking the Martian landscape. What do you think the precursors want us to do next? She asked. Sam smiled. Keep exploring. Keep learning. Keep surprising everyone. Outside the window, the Guardian ships hovered peacefully alongside vessels from Earth and a dozen other worlds. And far beyond them all, barely visible as a faint blue star, a signal pulsed, a message from the precursors themselves. The signal contained coordinates to a distant star system and a simple message that appeared on screens throughout human space. You are ready for what comes next.